So I'm gonna ask a general question. How do you guys learn a different language? If anybody has
Repetitiveness.
repetitiveness, is one. Anybody else? Speaking to people, that's very good. Anyone else? So, a little backstory. I came to the US when I was about 13 years, and obviously I didn't know English. I came from I knew Spanish really well with punctuations and everything.
Come on, mom got class. Go.
My teacher used to tell me, yeah, all you have to do is watch TV in English. And I never really did it, but I felt that it really worked. What I liked doing was I liked a lot of English songs. And what I started doing, I started translating the songs of my favorite bands. And music is universal. If you like the rhythm, you will commit to it. And when you actually write it down, you'll be surprised of how much you already know. So in this class, later on, we're going to be doing one of those. Or if you guys want to do a little more, we can do a little more. And everybody knows Selena, right? The main Selena, not Selena Gomez. Yeah, right. The original one, right? So to start the class, I'm gonna give you a very big surprise. So you guys know a lot of Spanish already. You just don't know it. This is called cognates. Cognates, let me just write it down so you guys don't get confused. This class is gonna be the easiest. If you guys have your, I guess I need to have your syllabus and then your list of words. Look at all these words. I thought it was front and back. You guys have front and back? No, oh, that's good. That's good. It was good. Yeah, I was just doing it on 2 before, but this is good. So look at all of these words that you already know. And obviously in here, these are called perfect cognates, and I'll explain what that is. What it means is basically words derived from the same parent language. So English and Spanish are both derived from Latin. And so what you see here, we have English and Spanish, even though they're redundant, because it's exactly the same word. So you already know all of these words and their meaning. And there's more. This is just an example. During this class, I'm going to show you tricks on how to learn something fast and how to learn it in the most efficient way. So all you have to do really is pronunciate and practice, but you already know what it means. And in the following classes, we're going to be doing something called the near perfect cognates. So those, for example, it's just to go over it. Communication. No, this one. So I didn't write the whole thing. For example, this communication, all you have to do is replace it by comunicación. We'll go over that in more detail. And then there's some variations, but it's gonna make Spanish look very easy. So that's the first part of the syllabus, you know, cognates, right from the same parent language, perfect, near perfect cognates, some basic rules. The next thing we're going to talk about is the ABCs. The ABC is exactly the same, except for ñ. Before, you used to have this word. You don't have to write this down or whatever, but they're gone. It's like my last name is Chaires. So we do have the CH together, but not anymore. So I'm just letting you know for informational purposes. And then we still use the double L, but it's not in the alphabet anymore. Lluvia, this means rain. So the only difference between the alphabet between English and Spanish is ñ. And you guys try to say ñ. So this is used in words like niño. Niño. So already you know everything else about the ABC, and we wouldn't go over the pronunciation of the ABCs because conversational Spanish really it starts with actual phrases and something more practical. So we have some basic rules. Again, I'm just going over the syllabus right now. If it ends in O, for example, it's masculine. I have male attorney as abogado. So abogado or abogada. Abogada, when it ends in an A, it's female. And you will see that a lot of times. So, but if you know what, even just the masculine or feminine, you can make out the word already in most cases. So another of the basic rules, so the adjective in Spanish comes after the pronoun. So for example, here in America, we will say turn right at the brown house. But in Spanish, you will say da vuelta a la derecha en la casa café. Brown, you can see it's bolded out. And café, that's what it means. Brown is café, the color brown. So you can see that brown is before the pronoun, which is house. And then in Spanish is the other way. It's you put it at the end. And then I have another example, but we'll go over that. Okay, so just going over the rest of the syllabus. The next we're going to be doing is the most basic phrases and verbs. I have some examples in there. And then we may talk about Duolingo, depends if Mrs. Julie, I'll have to talk with her. Duolingo is an app that teaches you some basic phrases. I haven't used it myself, I haven't had time, but I think we're gonna give you all the tools you can get so that you can learn fast.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it before you got here.
Okay.
And I forgot your name. Anita. Anita's actually using it too, so.
Okay. So on the other side of, at least on my sheet, we go over the near perfect cognates. And that's one of the rules. If it ends in T-I-O-N, it's replaced with Sion. We'll go over that in detail. We'll go over a lot of examples and then you'll be able to tell, oh yeah, this is going to be this word. It's very straightforward. Then as we have more lessons, we're going to get together and either review pronunciations or talk about how your day was in Spanish as best as we can. Obviously, some of you guys might be a little more advanced. Some of you might be a little more entry, but we're gonna have a lot of help. We're gonna have a lot of teachers and teachers aid, so they can go with you and they can help you speed up the process. Okay, so number 6, this is where for me is really fun. We can translate Spanish songs to English, and you guys can choose. If you guys have Anybody specific? We can probably throw it in there. So we'll print out the lyrics of the song in Spanish, and using our dictionary or your phone, we will look up for the words. And then try to make it so that it's a song that is very catchy, that is something that you have in your mind. And that's the best way to learn, in my opinion. Then we're going to get into practical scenarios. When in a restaurant, let's say you guys go to Cancun or Acapulco or something fancy.
Or down the street.
Or down the street right here. Yeah, there you go. I meant the street called Acapulco, right here in Belfast. So what happens when you go to a Latin country? Emergency phrases, understanding other, aspects like of the culture, sayings in Spanish, just a few. That's just like for fun. And then as many times as needed, we're gonna get in groups, and we're gonna talk about like a future project that we have or something that is going on with our lives, and we're gonna try to do it in Spanish, but again, we're gonna have a lot of help, and that's later on. So for the last lessons, we have in here, it depends if we have the special topics. Like we know we have people from the medical field, construction field. So we can use phrases, and we can use most of the use common language. For example, in the medical field, they're not going to be talking about soccer, for example. It's just going to be me duele, it's like it hurts, right? Stuff like that. So and then hopefully you guys can apply this, and we can learn a little more together. So for this first lesson, like I told you guys, is very simple. So we're going to pronunciate the words in Spanish. And then you already know what it means. And then it just takes practice. Like I will say it one time with all of you, and then we can get together in smaller groups. If we struggle with a certain word, then we can help. But again, you guys should be very excited because you guys already know a lot. And this is just a small list. If you were to Google, there'll be a lot more words. So I'm gonna start. So the first is—
Which one are you on? You're on a perfect.
Perfect.
I'll pull that up.
Mhm. Are you ready? So try to say it with me when I say it, and if we struggle, we can repeat it a few times. Actor. Actor. Admirable.
One more time.
Admirable. Admirable. Add. Like if you were adding. Admirable. Okay, you already know what it means.
I think that flipped R is getting a lot of people.
And that's what we're here for. So once you guys hear these words a couple of times, you guys are gonna be really dangerous. You guys are gonna know when your in-laws are talking about you, and when somebody's talking. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody loves each other. Right? So, but again, if you already know what it means, just remember just the pronunciation. Try it a few times. The next one, agenda. I heard a lot of agenda, like with an H. We try to pronounce the G a little more. Agenda. Yeah, it's better. Oh, this one, I think you guys already know. Alcohol. Alcohol. Altar. Altar. Animal. Animal. Área. Very good. Artificial. Artificial. And before we keep going, I'm just showing you the tricks. You can go home, you can YouTube how to pronounce these words again, you know, and it's super easy. I'm trying to give you the blueprint for success, you know. Obviously, due to time constraints, you know, we can't extend these classes forever. Otherwise, you guys will be speaking and writing songs in Spanish and, you know, stuff like that. Okay. The next one, auto. 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 Balance. Balance. Bar. Bar. Fácil. Muy bien. I mean, sí, sí. Sorry. Base. Brutal. Cable. Canal. Cáncer. Canon. Capital. Again, capital. Capital. Carbón. Cartón. Cartón. So when you see that little accentuation in the O, that means that we pronounce the O a little stronger than the other one. Cartón. Carbón. Central. Cerebral.
Cerebral.
Cheque. I think everybody likes that one. Chocolate. Chocolate. That sounds very English. That sounds very. That sounds like all that, like Dora the Explorer, the worst Mexican American. Oh, anyways, chocolate. And obviously, I don't expect you guys to remember all the pronunciation, but when you hear those words, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I know what that means," you know. Circular. Civil. Club. Oh, that was gonna be a little harder. Collar. Collar. Yeah, so you gotta, because it's double L, we pronounce it a little stronger. Collar. Colonial. That was very English. Sounding again. Colonial. Coma. Combustión. Combustión. Conclusión. Conductor. Okay. Confusión. Confusión. That sounds a lot like confusion.
I don't know,
It's
ready.
confusión. Confusión. Good job. Considerable. Oh, good job. That one was a hard one. Guys got it. Considerable. Control. Cordial. Criminal. Crisis. Cultural. Debate. Debate. Decisión.
Decisión.
Diagonal.
Diario.
Dimensión.
Dimensión.
Director.
Director.
Disco.
Disco.
División.
División.
Doctor.
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 You guys are saying doctor. It's
Doctor.
doctor. Doctor. Doctor. Drama. Durable.
Durable.
Editorial. I can see the pronunciation is still very English, which is great. But you should be able to identify those words in Spanish now. So they're gonna click, oh, it sounds a lot like this word, so it must be this word, and it is. Electoral. Elemental. Enigma. Error. Excursión.
Excursión.
Experimental. Experimental. It's a little hard, right?
Experimental.
Experimental. Experimental. Explosión.
Explosión.
Expulsión.
Expulsión.
Extensión.
Extensión.
Exterior.
Exterior.
Factor.
Factor.
Familiar.
Familiar.
Fatal. Federal.
Federal.
Festival.
Festival.
Final.
Final.
Flexible.
Flexible.
Formal.
Formal.
Fórmula.
Fórmula.
Frontal. Fundamental. Gala. Gas. General. General. Not general. 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 Okay. Génesis.
Génesis.
Global.
Global.
Grave.
Grave.
Habitual.
Habitual.
Hobby. I guess it's the same one.
Hobby.
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 Horizontal.
Horizontal.
Horror.
Horror.
Hospital.
Hospital.
Good job with the double R's.
I know.
That was really good. I was like,
Horror.
these guys are natives. Okay. Hotel.
Hotel.
Idea.
Idea.
Ideal.
Ideal.
So what do you guys think so far? Is this a little boring? You guys want to mix it? Or this is a good early beginning?
This is a good early beginning.
Yeah. And again, you looked at it and it means the same thing. So you, like I said, like
It don't sound the same.
it doesn't sound the same. But if you hear it enough times, then you'll be able to tell.
Is there a trick for the R or?
The R? You just have to be awesome, that's it.
Yeah.
There is,
No. it's wrong.
they say roll the tongue. I never know what that means. I just, don't worry, Puerto Ricans miss this all the time. All the R, all of them, not just the double R. Look at that one, those guys. Carro. Yes, a little strong. It's like a dog is going there, or a pirate, if you like pirates. Okay, so guys, ready for the next? Imperial. Implacable. Incursión. Individual. Industrial. Inevitable. inferior, informal, inseparable, inseparable, inspector, interminable, invasión, invisible, irregular.
Irregular.
Okay, there's the double Y. You guys did really good. Judicial,
Judicial.
kilo, lateral, legal, liberal, literal, literal.
Literal.
You guys are saying it a lot like literal.
Literal.
It is. But if you hear it, and that's fine,
Literal.
but if you hear it, it's going to be literal.
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 So when someone is making an example and they say literalmente, it means literally. Mhm.
Literalmente.
Local,
Local.
macho, maestro,
Maestro.
mango.
Mango.
Everybody knows that. Manía,
Manía.
manual,
Manual.
Mhm. Marginal,
Marginal.
material,
Material.
matrimonial,
Matrimonial.
medieval,
Medieval.
medieval,
Medieval. Medieval.
medieval.
Medieval.
Yeah, better. Mediocre,
Mediocre.
melón,
Melón.
mental,
Mental.
menú.
Menú.
Hey, you guys are gonna like that one, the menu. We're gonna have a session just for when you go to a Mexican restaurant, so that they don't tell you like, oh, this is good. You'll be like, no, I want the chile relleno con salsa ranchera, la roja, you know, because those are amazing, you know. You know. Okay, metal, menú. Oh, wait. Sorry, I said that already. Miserable,
Miserable.
moral,
Moral.
mortal,
Mortal.
motel,
Hotel.
motor,
Motor.
motor,
Motor.
or,
Or.
at the end, motor.
Motor.
That's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. Puerto Ricans can't do that, like I said. It is what it is, you know. Múltiple,
Múltiple.
municipal,
Municipal.
musical,
Musical.
natural,
Natural.
noble,
Noble.
normal,
Normal.
nostalgia,
Nostalgia.
ópera,
Ópera.
oral,
Oral.
oriental,
Oriental.
original,
Original.
panorama, particular,
Particular.
pasta,
Pasta.
pastor,
Pastor.
patio,
Patio.
patrón.
Patrón.
Oh, you guys know that well. I don't know why. Anyways, peculiar,
Peculiar.
penal,
Penal.
perfume,
Perfume.
personal,
Personal.
peseta,
Peseta.
piano,
Piano.
plaza,
Plaza.
plural,
Plural.
popular,
Popular.
popular,
Popular.
po,
Po.
no, po,
Po.
pu,
Pu.
lar,
La.
popular.
Popular.
Very good. Pretensión.
Pretensión. Pretensión.
Yeah, that one was so difficult. You guys got it the first time.
Pretensión.
Principal,
Principal.
probable,
Probable.
propaganda,
Propaganda.
News, huh? Protector,
Protector.
provincial,
Provincial.
radical,
Radical.
radical. I hear a lot of radical, like super soft. So what my wife tells me, because obviously I still have an accent, but so does everyone, especially in Alabama. No, just kidding. Everyone has an accent, right? But what she tells me for English is you gotta relax the jaw, you know? And when I'm conscious, then I start doing that. But otherwise, I just speak like it is. And that's how Spanish is. Like if you mean it, like so. Protector.
Protector.
Okay. We're gonna skip a few because we already did those. Región.
Where are we?
Región.
Region?
Where are you at?
Region.
What English word do you want?
Yeah. Forget region or
Protector.
protect.
Right here. Yeah.
Protect.
I'll do this once again. Provincial.
Provincial.
Radical.
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 That still sounds a lot like radical.
Radical.
Radical. Radical. Radio.
Radio.
Región.
Región.
Regional.
Regional.
Those son difficult ones.
Regional.
Regular.
Regular.
Religión.
Regi-
Reunión.
regi-
Revisión. Ritual.
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 Ritual. Ritual.
Rural.
Rural.
Secular.
Secular.
Sentimental.
Sentimental.
Serial.
Serial.
Sexual.
Sexual.
Similar.
Similar.
Simple.
Simple.
Singular.
Singular.
Social.
Social.
Solar.
Solar.
Solo.
Solo.
Subversión.
Subversión.
Superficial.
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 Superior.
Superior.
Taxi.
Así.
Televisión.
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 Sounds like Univision. Terrible.
Terrible.
Terror.
Terror.
Oh, good job. Total.
Total.
Transcendental.
Transcendental.
Triple.
Triple.
Tropical.
Tropical.
Unión.
Unión.
Universal.
Universal.
Usual.
Usual.
Verbal.
Verbal.
Versión.
Versión.
Vertical.
Vertical.
Violín.
Violín.
Visible.
Visible.
Visual.
Visual.
Vital.
Vital.
Vulgar.
Vulgar.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
Vital.
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 Vital. Muy bien. You guys did really good. So now what I want you guys to work on is, in small groups, help each other. I'll go around, but try to go over the ones maybe you had a little more difficulty. If it's all of them, then we can, yeah. So again, this is going to be the easiest class. The other ones are super easy as well. Like I said, the rules just changed a little bit for cognates. Again, words that are derived from the same parent language. So the other ones, you will know what it means just by looking at it, because it's only like one or two words that are different. Like I put communication, comunicación. So if you see it in writing or if you hear it, you know that if it ends in T-I-O-N, then it's C-I-O-N in Spanish, So if you guys will probably get together and try to practice a little bit, and I'll go over and try to help people, and I'll bring my wife and somebody else that can also help in the meantime. Okay. And obviously you can review the syllabus as well. And if you guys are thinking about suggestions of songs or anything, then we can probably add it as well. Me, I'll be back. So. It's part of the first class, and I think it's a good idea to go over it at least 1 or 2 times. So we have the same vowels in Spanish. They're called vocales. Vocales. It's A, E, I, O, U. And we have el burrito sabe más que tú. It's just a joke. Okay, so now we're going to try to go over the alphabet. The only difference again is just the ñ. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, y Z. Sorry. So do you guys struggle with any specific ones?
Why?
So we go over it again, all of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to come and pronounce it? See if it's a little different? You
She was not, cause she videoed, you guys said that, you see that, where she can go back and look at it, or.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can we go look it over?
So, so they know, the I, E, O, U, el burrito sabe más que tú, it's because it rhymes with tú, right? So that basically means, el burrito, the donkey, knows more than you. It's just a joke.
It's yeah.
We Mexicans use. So do
Okay,
you want me to say all of them?
Yeah, pronunciate them so that they can hear a different voice.
Okay.
La voz de una
A prettier
mujer.
voice. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and that comes from your throat. J, yes. K, L, M, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y,
Y.
Z.
Z.
Yes.
Run that Y back, yeah.
Yeah,
You
the
got
Y.
a couple times.
Yeah,
Y
Y.
Y. So it's Y.
It literally
So that
means-
means, yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
No, you.
Oh, so that means that it's Greek
I.
I.
Y.
Yes. Y.
Griega.
Griega means Greek. So Y.
Y.
Griega.
Griega. H.
H.
Yes.
Can you just bow again?
See the vowels?
Oh, yes. A. E. I. O. U. And then later we will teach you el burrito sabe más que tú. So you can tell that to people.
R, they're asking for R.
So,
R. The word R. Yes.
Do the I again for the vowel?
E. E. Yes. So it's an E.
Oh, J, letter J.
J.
Wait, maybe tell them. Tell them it's J because it's getting.
So J is J. Where is it?
J.
J.
What is G?
G.
G. And this one is not as strong as, this one comes from your throat. This one doesn't. This is G. G.
J.
And then it's
Very
just be
graphic.
careful that, you know, something might come up.
Okay.
So
So,
yeah, that's the difference.
are there any other questions on the alphabet?
Zoom, okay?
What's this? X.
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 X. I don't want to say dos X, but you, right?
Yes.
You guys know? You guys know it already.
Dos X.
Dos X, por favor. No. Don't send me to board. Yeah. So, a little bit of expectations on this class. I can actually promise you that you will not learn how to understand Bad Bunny. Because I don't even understand it. And so are you guys familiar with Bad Bunny?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are. But that's not Spanish, that's Bad Bunny. So I'm just letting you know, like it's even hard for us to do it. So what do you guys think of the first class?
Wow.
So the next classes, what I will hope that you guys can do on your own is study the pronunciation. And again, there's a lot of apps. There's in the syllabus at the very bottom, there's some websites that I found, and I think I highlighted something that pronunciates.
I think that, I didn't print the second.
Oh, okay.
It only had a few,
Yeah, the Duolingo.
yeah, I think
It's-
it's only do like.
It stops.
Oh, yeah, it didn't get it.
It's
too big.
Need to be in the camera.
Oh, thank you.
You want to write it on the board maybe for this online?
What I also ask of you guys, I want you guys to have fun in this class. So, and open our minds a little bit. So, for example, music is universal. If you have some preferences, just bring it up to the group, you know, and then we'll discuss and maybe we can do that song. Because again, learning by rhythm is super easy. Because it's number one is repetitive, number two is very practical. And number three is it's a great experience because when you translate word by word, you actually absorb a lot more versus if you use Google Translate. So be careful when you translate, for example, songs or like a movie transcript. You have to do word by word and not the whole thing, because I've done that with French songs and ask me anything about French, I'll be like, oui? Again, it's only when we take a little bit of time when we actually learn. And Miss Julie here has tried this app. Do you want to talk a little bit about it? How does it work and stuff, Miss Julie?
So tell them to start
Just one second.
like songs, like children songs.
Children's songs. You guys can start with heavy rock Spanish songs. That's what my wife just recommended. So just don't tell the Mrs. Pastor over here. No, I'm just kidding. Children's songs is a great one. You know, there's a lot of children's songs and
Because they're very repetitive.
yeah, they're repetitive. But yeah, again, Selena, I think she was very popular here in the US. And every time I went to a bar, not to drink, right? Yeah, there was always this karaoke, and all the American girls were singing Como la Flor or Amor Prohibido. And they don't even know what it means, but they were singing it, you know? So again, if you guys have any preferences, let us know and we'll make it happen. Miss Julie?
Yeah, I'll just wait till next week. But you can check out the different apps. I'm using this one, look, and even though this looks like a web address, that's the actual name. Of the app.
Yeah, this is
And
really good. Mhm.
that one, okay, and then this one teaches really practical phrases. So I'm using these two together.
Okay.
But if you'll look at them, and then if you have any questions, we can talk about them next week.
Did I miss it, somewhere, if we can't be here, how to get on the phone? I'm gonna be out of town one week.
I'll send a Zoom link out to everyone.
Okay, she'll send a Zoom link out to everybody. Did you all receive an email reminding you about the class? Is there anybody that didn't? Raise your hand. Okay, if you didn't, then see me before you leave and we'll make sure we have your correct email address. Okay, yeah. And then also, where are we going to, if you miss a class, we have it recorded, yeah, and we're gonna have it on YouTube on our church. And we'll send that in the email also, so you can go back and look at previous classes. It was so nice to meet all of you guys. And are they?
Adios. Adios.
That means goodbye.
So they're gonna take these and bring